Welcome to Monkey See,
Monkey Review.
where this week we are continuing our coverage of What If, Episode 3, What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes?
So, timeout. If you haven't watched that episode, please go watch it. Come back, and we're going to talk about it because spoilers will commence now.
This guy, he cuts me off every time.
Well,
Yeah, well.
someone's got to say it.
That's true, because we know
You
I
talk too
forget.
much.
Nobody said you're wrong there. So, this episode, how'd you feel in this episode?
It was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Sad, but very interesting.
It was very, very emotionally just down. Like, it was a dark episode.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, I'm okay with a good dark episode.
Loki got his way,
Yeah.
which I'm okay with.
I'm not crying. I'm not complaining at all when Loki gets his say at the end. Like,
At first, I thought it was Loki.
yeah.
This big mystery of why each of the heroes are dying, who's behind it, blah, blah, blah. Whenever Thor died, I was like, did Loki just do that? Because that means brilliant. Because if you kill him, but you make it seem like
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye did it, right? And then you get to bring in your army and be like, look, they killed our prince. Let's go lay down the law.
Right.
Right?
Right. I thought it was a brilliant as far as that aspect goes. I loved when Loki and his crew showed up. Like, I was okay. This makes sense. This makes complete sense. But this is also one of those episodes that we saw a lot of little snips from in the trailers. So I kept wondering when all these parts were going to come into play. So I was like, what in the world? When are we going to get this? Because I really need to know when we see Loki walk in with an army.
Yeah.
So anyways, in this episode, really interesting, really dark. This is one of those episodes where it's just like, oh man. Starting off with a conversation between Nick Fury and Nat, the Black Widow, talking about he took a big swing on her and convinced this Russian agent to work for his Avengers crew, and he always takes this big swing to be able to acquire the talent. Essentially, is what it comes down to.
Because he's talking about the Avengers Initiative, the whole thing,
And we pick up right from there, and it's in episode or part 2 of Iron Man when he's hanging out eating the donut in the middle of the donut.
Yep, with his glasses on.
With the glasses on, Nick Fury walks up. I'm gonna have to ask you to exit the donut, which great moment. Yep. So going to the little cafe, and he's sitting there, look like he's hungover. He's got the little lines coming up his neck from the toxic poisoning. Nat pops him in the neck with something that's supposed to help take the edge off.
So basically the same scene that happened in Iron Man 2.
Identical.
Except for this time, she pops him, he drops dead.
Drops dead. No ifs, ands, or buts. She gets arrested immediately.
Because that's the S.H.I.E.L.D. policy, right?
That's the S.H.I.E.L.D. policy.
And that Price wants her back at headquarters immediately.
Yes. So it was a very interesting episode. And essentially, this is the running, for lack of a better word, the running gag of the episode. Because we know that episode 2, or part 2 of Iron Man, overlays with Thor, the very first Thor.
And then also overlays with
the Incredible Hulk.
Which found that everything was within a week.
Yeah, everything's
All
within
in
a 7-day period.
7-day period.
Which is really brilliant in my opinion. I knew the first 2 overlaid. I didn't realize the Hulk overlaid.
It's been one of those forgotten movies. Like, it's part of the MCU, but since it's Edward Norton's Hulk, they have never really fully tied that in. People have speculated that, whenever they talk about in the Avengers movie, I put a gun to my head, I shot myself. That's what changed his appearance to the new Bruce Banner that we see.
Yeah, that's a fan theory out there. But, I love how...
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
if you're
absolutely.
thinking about it.
Yeah, so, but the green guy spit it back out at him. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
It was, so we move on from there. Iron Man's already off the board, gone. They go in to start they have Black Widow handcuffed. She is heading in. Then we flip over. She's got the little syringe behind her, and Nick Fury is telling her, he's like, I need you to find out what's going on here.
I need someone on the outside to find out what's going on.
Yes.
So, you going to take a chance on me again?
Yes.
Would be the best gamble I've ever made.
Absolutely.
Because I trust her.
Yeah, she's And I liked her in this episode. I had one friend of mine was talking about it. He's like, I don't like this episode because she don't look right. I was like, what do you mean she don't look right? He's like,
it's an animated series.
He's like, but everybody else looks so like on top of it. Like, yeah, but here's the thing, dude. You got to remember, she's actually really spot on for the time when she was supposed to look like that for this episode. This goes back several years.
Yeah, it's different than.
But he's like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I was like, stop. You just
because everybody else looked like they would have in their original movies.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody else looked really spot on. She was a little off, but I think it's because she's had so many style changes.
Yeah.
Since then to now, like you can go back and watch her in Iron Man 2, and she looks like a complete Scarlett Johansson looks like a completely different actress.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, just go back and rewatch it. You're good. She has a syringe behind her back. She's under a guard. She takes out the guard.
Hey, can you hold this for me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah. I was really wanting her to give the Captain America line. Does anybody want to step out before we get started?
Yeah, I'm not sure that she can do that though.
I don't think she could.
She can't. I mean, that's basically her line. You want to hold these like. You're going to try to put me in handcuffs? Like, really?
Right, exactly. Isn't that cute? So she takes out everybody in the armored van.
Was it Crossbones, right? Is in the front seat going, I don't know what the big deal is about her. I mean, she can't even really punch, right? Yeah. Like, what's the deal? And then all of a sudden she broke out and he's like, crap.
Yeah. She's like in the back laying everybody to the ground. And then he's just like, what's that noise? They pull over. He runs back there and she's gone. He's just like, no.
Yep.
Yeah, sir, you just got demoted.
Yep.
Going on, we pick up in Thor, where he is going after Mjolnir. And it's still on that little rock pillar. And Hawkeye's got him in the sights.
Coulson spots him.
Yes.
The description of Thor. Oh, he's got lovely, blonde, flowing hair. It's gorgeous. He's a gorgeous man. Fury. What was that? It's an accurate statement. It's an accurate description. And in Hawkeye, Coulson wasn't lying about the hair. I mean, okay.
There was so many little great one-liners in this one, especially revolving around Thor like that.
Yes.
So it was hysterical. But you see that whole scene where Thor tries to pick up the hammer, but all of a sudden, this one, he gets popped.
As Hawkeye even said, one shot, one kill.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah. So one shot, he's down. And Hawkeye starts freaking out. He's like, I didn't do that. I didn't do it. I didn't let it go. Come to find out, technically he did, but not really. So they put him in solitary confinement.
And then?
Behind a glass shield, like you're watching him, and he's just sitting there on his, got his hands on his knees, and he's sitting on the floor, and he's just like, I never missed. I never did that. I didn't let go.
Yep.
Well, we jump back outside. We're talking to Nick Fury and Coulson again. Nick Fury goes in to start talking to Hawkeye, and he's like, he falls over dead. They're like, who's been in here? Nobody. So we've got this great mystery going on.
They said it was
3 of the Avengers.
They thought it was cyanide poisoning. He had a capsule in his mouth, and then Fury makes the comment, he's married with kids.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that.
Right.
Which is, the first time I think Nick's actually ever said that statement, right?
Yeah. That's the first time anybody's supposed to really know that he has kids.
Yeah, because it's a closely guarded secret. We don't find out
between him and Nick Fury, yes.
Yeah.
So, moving on, he's dead. And then we have the whole little autopsy scene where they're actually making Reference to even in Thor's decomposing body, he smells like lavender.
Yes.
Like Coulson keeps going on about it, go, he smells like lavender. Like, what in the world is going on, Coulson? Like, we've got to talk about this, dude.
And then on the background, Nat's trying to figure everything out.
Yep.
And that's where we run into
Betty Ross.
Yeah.
The Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner's girlfriend.
It's
also the daughter of General Ross.
Yeah. And it's not the first time that they've met because she thought
she
was there for
the Avengers Initiative.
For the big guy.
Uh-huh. Looking for Bruce Banner. And she's like, I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk to you.
About the
syringe
that killed Iron Man.
Yeah. So she is a nanoparticle scientist who goes in.
That's her specialty, basically.
Yeah, essentially.
She looks at it and come to find out the antibodies, or the antidote, was never actually injected. Something blocked it.
Yeah, something exploded. And it looks like, she's just like, it looks like something has exploded out of the syringe and killed him.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, was that, was it like a nano weapon? And she's just like, that's not I'm not a ballistics expert.
Yeah.
Then she sees the pizza delivery hat and the pizza delivery jacket that we saw in the Incredible Hulk when he went in to run some tests.
Yep.
So really, I
And we
love
come-
all the details.
Yeah, then we go back to the scene where he's on the bridge,
Yes.
in the glass bridge, and then he gets shot.
Yep.
You know, and he tells
But
her,
it
"Hey,
actually pierces. Did you notice there was a small, like, burst of blood? So we didn't get that the first time. We didn't see the blood. We didn't get blood. So we'll have to go back and watch it
yeah,
again.
because I mean, he would still bleed
Yeah.
until obviously the
Yeah.
Hulk's going to come
Yeah.
out at that point, and then as he did,
Yeah.
as he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Ross is like, who opened fire? And like all the men
Yeah,
are like,
nobody.
nobody.
We didn't do
Nobody's
it."
shot. Nobody's fired. And Nat's sitting there going, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And like he even sits there before he transforms and says, you need to get out of here
Yeah.
now. So he transforms into the Hulk, goes into the full rage mode, and then all of a sudden he starts to swell and grow and explodes.
Yeah.
Which, can you imagine the amount of detergent it's going to take to get the Hulk
I mean,
out of your clothes?
gamma radiation that just got expelled right
Right?
there.
Dude.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was a green mushroom called kaboom.
You think about like the big Michelin Man. Or,
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
man. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yep.
Yeah, just like explosion. Crazy. But so it was really good. Moving on from there, we're like, okay. Then Natalie goes into a library and starts doing some research. And
She calls Coulson to get his password,
yep,
and he doesn't want to give it to her. He's
Of
like,
course
come
not.
on, give it to me, blah, blah, blah. She finally gets in there, and she's looking at the
yes,
initiative, right? The Avengers Initiative. And then she figures out someone's looking at it that died 2 years ago.
yes.
And then she's sensing something behind her. And then,
Then she starts getting beat
yeah, so she tries calling Nick.
by Casper.
Yep.
Like, you don't see nobody, but she's getting it handed to her, dude.
And then she calls Nick
Yep.
and leaves him a voicemail while Nick is dealing with Loki and
Yep.
the Asgards that just showed up out of nowhere.
Yep. Right outside of where Thor was killed.
Yep.
And it's just, she's like, I love it when she's sitting there talking to him about it. She's just like, what are you dealing with? He's just like, probably more than what you're dealing with. She's just like, no, I'm dealing with this. And he's just like, I'm dealing with an invading army. She's like, from Earth? He's like, looks like Middle Earth. She's like, show off.
Yep.
So I love the Middle Earth little tag right there. I was like, yes, nicely done. Nicely done. Then we see her just get taken out.
Yep.
We don't see who did it. We just see her get taken out. We see Nick Fury go to Loki, and he's like, okay, we got to talk about this. Then we pick up, he is listening to the voicemail that Nat left him, saying it's hope. It's all about hope. Hope. It's all about hope. So he's listening to it. And then the next scene, we get him standing in a cemetery.
No, he's in the diner talking with Coulson,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And they're sitting there talking about it and the Avengers Initiative, and everyone's pretty much dead. And he makes the point, no, there's still one more name on the list, and it's yours. And then he said, well, no, I'm not the only Avenger left. Then we see the pager for Captain Marvel.
Yes.
And then he's almost going to press it, right?
Yep.
And then thinks about it for a second, realizing it's all about hope.
Yeah.
And then he says, I'm going to either make a deal with the devil or a monster or
Yes.
something like that.
I mean, pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talking about Loki. So
Then we find him.
in the cemetery. Yeah. Standing in front of a tombstone. And out of nowhere, the Hank Pym in the Yellow Jacket suit shows up.
Yep.
Which, by the way, the Yellow Jacket suit looks awesome in animation.
Yeah.
And we find out Hope Van Dyne, his daughter, was killed 2 years ago. She was one of the original members for the Avengers.
Yep. So she
And-
joined the team, got killed in action, and then he's upset because they never honored her because
Right.
she was a covert agent for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
Right.
So proceeds, he starts like going off on Nick Fury standing there, and Nick Fury is just kind of like getting him to divulge what he's done.
Yeah, basically he killed everybody, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Why'd you kill Thor? Well, he wasn't an Avenger.
Yeah.
But he was going to be.
And I
Blah,
just
blah,
took him
blah.
off the board.
Took him off the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he goes after Nick Fury. And Nick Fury...
giving it to him.
What?
And he even makes a comment. You're pretty good for a guy that sits behind a desk. Like, what's going on?
You're spry for a man who has a corner office.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then, Nick's giving it back to him, too, smarting off.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just really out of character for him. And they're going back and forth. And then all of a sudden, he knocks him to the ground, or Nick knocks
Hank
to the ground, and before Hank can get up, Nick's gone. And then out walks like all these copies of Nick, and he's just like, what's going on? And he tries to take off. And there's a giant Nick in the air, and he gets caught in a glacier coming from the ground, like a little icicle just reaches up and grabs him, brings him back down to the ground. And that's when you realize
Loki.
It's Loki the whole time.
Yep.
Was never Nick Fury. So Nick Fury and him's just like, okay, now you've got your retribution, you've got your revenge. And he's just like, no.
We really should work together.
Yeah.
We're kind of on the same team. And then a week later, not even a week,
Yeah.
Loki's in charge of everything.
Yeah.
You have Asgardian guards outside the White House.
Yep.
And he is fully in control
of not just America, but
the planet.
The world. Like, he's sitting there in front of
Doing
the
his
United
speech.
Nations talking about, we will now have world peace. Pick up Coulson, Nick Fury are standing there in front of the caskets for all the Avengers that have died. And Coulson's like, well, what do we do now? And he's just like, we go for hope. And he walks out, and the next thing you see is him walking through the shuttle, the plane that Captain America crashed, and you see the shield, and he dusted it off.
Welcome back, Cap.
Yep. And then behind him,
Captain
Marvel shows up. She says, so, who do we got to hit? Or something like that.
What's the plan, basically?
Yeah, what's the plan? So, and that's where the episode ends. Little word from the Watcher talking about, hey, things are about to get interesting here. But it was a fun episode, but it was so dark. Just watching everybody just get taken out one after the other. It was just like, wow, okay.
And then Loki, back on top.
Yep, he's Loki right there,
what he's always wanted.
Oh, yeah, dude. Loki, man, I loved it. Like, I loved it. Like, I wish it would have been Loki behind it all.
Yes. Well,
But, I mean, this was I didn't see it coming.
No.
I didn't see Hank Pym. I didn't see that one. That one threw me, so.
Yeah, because it's a completely different universe.
Yeah.
As far as Hope's storyline, too.
Yeah, I mean, he looks a little... He looks rough in that episode. Like, he looks like he's been drove crazy, so that explains why he went after the Avengers.
Yep.
But a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So, what were your thoughts? Did you like it?
Yeah, definitely liked it. I would probably give it a 4.1
Okay.
out of it.
I'm going to go with the 3.5. Just, it didn't wow me. The biggest thing for me was when the Hulk exploded. A little green mushroom cloud. I was like, "Urgh." First thing I was like, oh, the laundry's going to be terrible for that. Then when Hank Pym showed up, I was like, oh, that makes sense. I like it. Good job. Because I was thinking, because you couldn't see him, I was like, is it the ghost that we saw in Ant-Man and the Wasp? But I was like, no, it shouldn't be her because she wasn't invisible. She was just intangible. Yeah. So what's going on? Hank Pym. Makes complete sense. Liked it. Really liked it. Very happy with it. Yeah. Wasn't wowed by it, but I think it's going to be hard to do any episode after last week's episode with T'Challa.
Yeah, which that was just a better episode overall.
Yes.
I mean, it was just fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't a dark episode. It was not a very dark episode at all. Very good episode. So, where do you think we're heading with What If? Do you think what are you thinking about the future?
After this episode, you think everything's kind of tied in, but this episode seems like a different universe than the last episode we were in.
Yeah.
Or at least the first episode, I guess I should say.
Yeah. I think it's all going to wind up being individual universes and different stories. But I keep getting the feeling that we're going to see the Watcher towards the end, last couple of episodes. He's going to have to pull all these people from a different universe to help take care of a bigger threat. Which I kind of hope. I would like to see like a multiversal Avengers team. Like, I think that would be like a really cool concept because I know we've seen in the previews where T'Challa and a Black Panther and Gamora are all fighting together. And
so that just could be his own universe, though. because obviously there's got to be a Black Panther in his universe. Because someone's got to be Black Panther, right?
You would hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the Wakandan way.
Yeah, so I mean, they're always gonna have their protector no matter what. So that could be his universe, and could be episode 2 for his individual storyline.
It would also make sense of why we haven't seen Gamora in that universe in that episode with what if T'Challa became Star-Lord. So I mean, it really could. It could explain a lot of things. If that is a 2-part episode that they're just holding part 2 out for later. Mm-hmm. That might be when they fight Ego. Yeah. So that would be interesting. Mm-hmm. But overall, as far as this episode with Loki and the Avengers, I think Pym, good episode. Really happy with it. But y'all tell us what y'all thought about this episode. Yeah. Leave us some comments. Tell us some things we're missing, because, I mean, we're just 2 guys who really enjoy this nerdy stuff, and we know we miss stuff.
Yep, definitely.
So, but do us a favor. Hit that like button.
Subscribe.
Leave some comments and share this with a friend. You have no idea how much it helps us. But until next week, guys, we love you.
Bye, guys.
See you then.